Do we need a countdown?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can count down right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
And then I'll intro you.
Countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting of the Audit Committee. Sorry for the brief delay. We have two interconnected items on today's agenda. We'll be holding a briefing of results from the FY20 external audit, and then we'll be holding a review of SB and Company's contract renewal. Before we begin, I want to extend a heartfelt welcome to all our guests, particularly SB and Company, for overcoming the restrictions presented by the pandemic. The fact that the audit was completed on time and with such professionalism and detail speaks highly to the dedication that we expect from SB and Company over the coming fiscal year. I certainly hope we can meet in person next year so I can express my gratitude face to face. Thank you all for all your hard work on this, and I am chairing the meeting today due to a conflict in Chair Navarro's schedule and the need to introduce this on the agenda tomorrow. With that, let me turn it over to Mr. Blaise DeFazio from OLO, who will walk us through the materials in the packet. Blaise?
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Before SB presents, I wanted to make a note that for SB's first county audit, they did a great job. They were very proactive on learning how the county works very early in the process. They did a good amount of planning, and they had excellent communication with county staff whenever there were questions or minor issues. Overall, they were just well prepared, and we were looking forward to working with them for the FY21 audit. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Bill Seymour from SB and Company, and he's going to present the FY20 audit findings.
Thank you, Blaise, and thank you, Mr. Harker, for your kind words. This represents our required communications under generally accepted auditing standards. We have a presentation. I'm going to share my screen here and kind of walk through it at a high level. If you have any questions as I go through, please stop me as we go through. I want to make sure everybody can see my screen.
Seymour, if you could, your audio is garbled. I mean, I can understand you, but maybe you can turn down your volume or turn up your volume or whatever is necessary, please.
All right, give me just one moment and I will attempt to do as much. Is that better, Mr. Katz?
Not much. I mean, we can understand you, but I didn't know whether it was something that could be fixed easily. If not, we'll try it.
Okay. This presentation, we go through and we'll list out the scope of services that we are engaged to perform during the course of for the June 30, 2020 year end, which was included the performance of the audit of the county, as well as performance of the uniform guidance single audit, audit of the 911 system, some various agreed upon procedures, an audit of the employees' retirement system, the employees of the retirement savings plan. We had communicated our responsibilities as auditors in a separate meeting related to those. Audit of the deferred compensation plan, the consolidated retiree health benefits trust, a review of the uniform financial report, that takes the information from the financial statements and places them in a fit format for the state of Maryland, as well as working with management on the data collection form, which takes the single audit and places it in a fit and format for the federal government, and then working with management on the statements, and as well to being available year-round as items come up that we're able to address those real time. The results of the audit, we have issued an unmodified or clean opinion on the financial statements. That's the best opinion that we are allowed to issue under generally accepted auditing standards. For all of these that we've completed, we issued clean opinions and we had no findings in the agreed upon procedures. We did not discover any instances of fraud as a result of performance of our required steps related to the audit. We discovered no material weaknesses in internal controls. We received the full cooperation from management, and I want to thank management for their help in getting us through the audit, especially given that it was a first time through, on top of the fact that we did the majority of the work remotely as a result of the pandemic requirements and really their flexibility in getting us information timely and answering our questions. The single audit, we issued an unmodified opinion. We had one minor finding related to reporting in one of the programs that were tested, and we had no audit journal entries as part of the financial statement audit. Our audit approach is a risk-based audit approach. What this process entails is us going through a planning process where we identify and understand the risk of material misstatement. Then we work through the controls and processes that are in place by management to go through and be able to see that management has designed and operated those controls effectively. Then we perform various analytical procedures, substantive procedures, as well as audit standard required items. And the whole idea behind this process is that we're able to obtain enough audit evidence to be able to issue that unmodified opinion, which we were able to do as a result of our audit procedures. With COVID-19, really two levels of items presenting new risks that wouldn't normally be in a financial statement audit: impairment of assets, additional costs and liabilities, activity related to both CARES funding as well as FEMA funding, the looking at the collectability of receivables, then the employees that are working remotely and the potential change in controls, potential need for additional disclosures. As I mentioned earlier, the majority of the work that we did was remote. We were able to use tools like Teams or Zoom to be able to conduct the same types of meetings that we would have otherwise done in person. We were able to obtain information through the use of secure portals, just as if we were there, just we weren't there because of the pandemic, and we were able to evaluate the impact of these items and had no, at the end of the audit, had no real issues as a result of these. One of the items that we do assess is the control environment. We follow the COSO model of internal controls. That is the 5 interrelated components here for the control environment: risk and assessment, information and communication, control activities, and monitoring, in which case here our assessment was effective. If we had significant issues during the course of the audit, we would use terms like suggestive improvements, not affected, material weakness, significant deficiency, of which we had none. We also looked at the key processes and the underlying functions as they relate to the processes that underlie the financial statements. And this kind of part of the audit is where what we're looking at is the process that management goes through to be able to create the information that's included in the financial statements and how they track, reconcile activity, and the like. And kind of the question that we get to at the end of the audit is that if you were to remove the external audit from the process, would management be able to create an accurate set of financial statements? And based upon our testing of these processes, we believe that answer is yes. Had we had issues, once again, we would use terms like significant deficiency, material weakness. We had really none of those items, and kind of the telltale sign is the fact that we did not have any audit adjustments. In the single audit, we tested 6 programs. That made up over 70% of the just over $124 million of federal awards. We've listed those out here. We did test the CRF, or coronavirus relief funding. As I mentioned earlier, we had one finding related to the National Urban Search and Rescue Program. There was a reporting, effectively one of the reports that we looked at didn't agree back. Not a big deal. We issued that at the end of March, which was compliant with the original timeline as required by the federal government. The federal government did end up issuing an extension that would have been otherwise available for 3 months, but the county was able to get us the information so that we could be done timely by the March 31st original deadline. The remainder of our presentation goes through our specific required communications. This is really our responsibility and opportunity to talk to you kind of about what's underneath the hood of the audit. You know, is there significant accounting policies that are really ultra aggressive or ultra conservative that are just barely acceptable? The application of those, we really have nothing, if you will, of a negative item that we would be required to bring to your attention. Once again, I want to thank Kim and her entire team really for getting us the information and working with us, and the patience as a first time through perspective. We had no disagreements with management, no serious difficulties, even with the pandemic, as I mentioned before. Really the way management was set up and how it is that they do their internal reporting, we were almost able to plug into that and be able to pull that information into our system, which really made for a smooth transition and getting us up to speed for the audit. And really, we have our contact information here. Joining me on the call today are Grace Smith, who is the engagement partner over both the county audit as well as the benefit plan audits, as well as Toby Hollander, who is the audit manager directly over the county audit. And our contact information is here. We'll open this up to the committee that at any time during the course of the year, if you ever have a question or if you have a concern or item that you would like to otherwise discuss, please feel free to reach out to any of the engagement team members, and we'll make sure we get that taken care of for you there. And I will stop there to see if there's any questions that anybody has.
Okay, no requests from my colleagues. Blaze, anything you want to add?
No, I have nothing to add to that first part.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's move on, I guess, to the second item. The second item is the review of the audit contract amendment, and it's extending SB for another year so they can perform the FY21 audits. This is the first of 3 renewals in the contract, and per the contract, the cost will be the same since it is fixed the first 2 years. Staff recommends approval of the contract amendment.
Colleagues, any questions?
No.
Comments?
Without objection.
It sounds like without objection. Blaze, I think we're all set.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for all your good work, everybody. We greatly appreciate it. And with that, I think we can adjourn unless, Blaze, you have any other items for us.
Nope, I do not.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Good work. Thank you.
Thank you.